Welcome everybody. Before you are some of the classic AMES SWORD padlocks, and the reason why I'm making this video is to kind of give everybody a heads up on some of the ignorant buyers that sell these locks on eBay. And a lot of these guys are either knowledgeable or simply pretending to be knowledgeable, or they just don't know anything. And yesterday I ran into somebody on eBay that's selling, looks like an estate seller, a whole bunch of padlocks. And I happened to notice that one of his AMES SWORD locks came with a key that was not an AMES SWORD key, and he claims that it's fully functional. Guys, a lock that opens, just because it opens and the lock locks, does not mean it's fully functional. And I kind of fell into the same trap in the early days of my antique padlock collecting. I got one of these AMES SWORD locks and I thought I impressioned a key for it. And really what I ended up doing was ruining the lock. And more often than not, you can take various interlocking 6-lever antique keys from various brands and use them as tryout keys. And if you rotate these keys in the counterclockwise direction, they'll usually open around the 11 o'clock position counterclockwise. But just because the lock opens, it does not mean that it's fully functional. Notice the center lock, how the key is perfectly horizontal between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. This center lock demonstrates the natural opening position of a truly fully functional key. Make no mistake about it. And just because a lock is opened by some key, we'll just call it a tryout key, does not make it fully functional. And the problem with that is that putting a key in this kind of lock, you can actually damage the lever tumblers because you don't have the proper alignment. It might be an in between two cuts, and those sharp edges could actually damage the edges of the tumblers. So I'm very careful when I see those kind of locks with those kind of keys. Buyer beware kind of thing. Don't think that that is really a working lock with a working key. It's not the same thing. The only advantage to having a key like that would be for you to read the tumbler movement through the shackle hole. And it is by no means a kind of key I'd recommend for daily use or for demonstration purposes. It's simply to give you an eye-opener of how the movement of the tumblers are when using incremental bit reduction, as I described in my books. So yes, fully functional means the key will rotate 360 degrees and open at the 9 and 3 o'clock positions in the horizontal position, whether it's rotated clockwise or counterclockwise. That is what a fully functional key means. It's also very important that you close the shackle all the way and hear the tumblers re-engage, because sometimes there's dirt and debris and the tumblers will not re-engage or release. So, and sometimes that movement can be altered because the shackle gets damaged, or the the shackle hole gets damaged in some way. And oftentimes that will prevent the tumblers from re-engaging when the shackle is closed. So once again, guys, be aware of sellers who claim fully functional. Just because it opens does not mean it's really a working key.